Boo.
Ow! Jump scare.
Hi, it's Orange Lee, and after posting that absolute chad of a video, I dropped off the face of the planet. And you're probably wondering, what could have gotten me out of that hidey hole and brought me to this oh-so-wholesome website? Wow. Let me tell you. As it is September, you know what that means.
It's freaking bats. I love Halloween.
That's right, it's f***ing Halloween. Look at the girls. Look at them. This is Spindle, and this is Sia. We love them. That means we get an excuse to talk about things that give us the heebie-jeebies. And, considering what you may know about me from watching videos on this channel, you may know that I've seen quite the things on just everywhere in my lifetime. I've seen lots of scary stuff in my lifetime. And let me tell you, nothing that I had seen there could have prepared me for this situation. You're probably wondering, oh, what situation could have gotten you all riled up like this? Like, oh, what's scarier than the weird-ass commercials you've seen? Well, sis, each day we stray further and further away from God. I am disturbed. As you may know, I am a fan of true crime. And I have been for a while. Something happened a while ago to bring the ethics of the true crime community into question. For good reason, because, sis, she f***ed up. Let's just say that right here, right now. It's not a good situation. Yeah, this kind of thing not only makes people who make true crime content look bad, but me are really bad. And considering the things that I witnessed makes this all the more special. So, we got that going for us. I mean, seriously, we need an award ceremony for people who can make normal people like me, or probably more likely you, to lose faith in humanity. Like, there's gotta be like a reward or something, like a trophy or something. So, first and foremost, I want to express my sincere condolences for Gannon's family. I think it's Stouch? Anyway, to Gannon's family, what you guys went through was absolutely horrendous. No one should ever have to go through that pain. And the fact that this has happened from the true crime community to you, this is unacceptable. So, for those of you who don't know, Gannon was unfortunately unalived by his stepmother, Letitia Stouch. And his case was pretty big in the true crime community, especially on a YouTube channel called Sav Girl. Now, if you don't know who Sav Girl is, she is a true crime YouTuber who specifically gathers like evidences and footage from trials. Basically has all that stuff up on her YouTube channel, which normally would be fine. Don't get me wrong, normally that would be completely and utterly normal for the true crime community. However, she made a bit of an oopsie. She basically took poor Gannon's autopsy photos and decided that it would be a good idea to post them on her Patreon.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
First of all, she thought that that was okay. And then after these said autopsy photos got leaked to the rest of the internet, she got called out for it. She posted an apology video on July 13th. Ooh. Ooh. Here is the apology video.
I want to apologize to everyone I've hurt, but especially Gannon's family. I've been doing some major soul searching and reflecting.
I just want to know what kind of soul searching and reflecting you have to do to recover after doing something like this, like asking for a friend.
I'm trying to define my motivations, and while I'm not looking for forgiveness or trying to make excuses.
She doesn't want to make excuses, and that's fair to state. However, here we are. you know?
I do hope to provide additional context that has not been made clear. And it was actually during the trial that I made the official records request. And it was in El Paso County, Colorado. I requested all the video, audio, and written records. I made no request for autopsy photos.
So she didn't want the autopsy photos, but they were given to her anyway. Personally, in my opinion, this is all my opinion, by the way. This isn't fact, but in my opinion, she shouldn't have kept those photos. As soon as she received them, she should have gotten rid of them, because those photos are so sensitive that I don't believe they should have fallen into anyone else's hands besides the families. And even then, that's a bit iffy.
I wanted all trial records, but my main interests were interviews with Letitia. The autopsy footage just happened to be in the files. I believe many of my images were already shown during the televised trial, and I saw the photos on other public YouTube channels that live streamed the trial and shared the evidence.
So basically what she's saying is that other public YouTube channels, they were live streaming the trial itself. And what she's saying is, if you need it spelled out for you, is basically saying like, oh, because somebody else did it, it's okay that I did this. Do you see how that can make this whole thing disingenuous? That you're basically saying, oh, like, why did I get all this attention? Why did I get all this hate? Why did I get all this criticism when other channels have done it? Now, I will say right now that I haven't looked for these YouTube channels. I did look it up. I haven't looked too deep into it. So if I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. But she said that these were specifically streaming the trial and, the trial itself. I'll get more into this later in the video, but basically all I want to say here is that just because they're public doesn't mean you get to share them. That is my opinion. That's where the line is. If you cross it, you're kind of not doing well in my book.
I think any of the images were new. These photos were already public.
Listen, girl, okay. Just because something is public doesn't mean that you should share it. Like, you can. It's not illegal, but it's not a question if it's legal or not. We're not worried about that. We're worried about ethics and like morals here. So when you think about this whole thing, how did it not occur to you that this could hurt someone? Like, I'm genuinely curious. I'm struggling to understand her here.
So the video I put together with the coroner's voice was my own creation. I chose to put the video on Patreon because of the sensitive nature of the evidence. Putting the evidence behind a paywall meant added security, and I naively thought they wouldn't be made public.
Say that she was a naive is an understatement, to say the least, because if something is put on the internet, guess what? That there is no security. None. I'm sorry, but if you're talking about the internet, it should be common sense that the internet is not a safe place to post something of that sensitive nature. Like, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that. You don't. I'm not even getting into the fact that she made money off of this poor boy's autopsy photos.
The video I created with a voice from the coroner wasn't meant to be shared outside of Patreon.
But it was.
And I chose not to put the photos on YouTube, a public forum, where the views would have allowed me to make more money, and the photos would be seen by more people.
I'm sorry, but I've never heard a more pathetic excuse, a pathetic reasoning behind doing something. Or a pathetic, like, what even is that? She's just like, oh, well, I could have posted it on YouTube and gotten way more views and way more money off of it. First of all, I really don't think YouTube would allow that content, because I know a whole different YouTube channel that gets videos strike down for covering cases on youth. So I highly doubt that would have been let slide on YouTube. But that's really pathetic to say. That's really messed up to say, where you're like, oh, well, it could have been way worse. That's like saying, like, oh, like, I just punched him, but I could have stabbed him. You know what I mean? Like, okay.
It was placed behind a paywall. Rumors about the images not being blurred or being different than what was shown in trial started to surface. No photo shows genitalia. I have made no jokes about the photos. I don't even cuss on my channel, and I would never allow derogatory remarks about a victim.
Well, I should hope not. I don't know if people have been out here accusing her of doing these things. I didn't do much research into this part. But if you are, shame on you. That doesn't make her right, but still.
I realized my intentions were not communicated well.
Okay, I don't know who needs to hear this, but your intentions when it comes to other people, to others, do not matter. If you hurt someone, and you need to own up. You can't just come on the internet, sit down, and communicate your excuses and your reasoning behind doing something like this. You need to just suck it up, sit down, apologize. That's it. No one cares about your intentions. No one cares about what you were thinking leading up to it. All anyone else sees is what you did. That's all they care about. Like, when you think about that, you just be like, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm not even the person that was affected. I can't even imagine what Gannon's family felt. I can't even begin.
My channel style started me hanging out with friends and speaking off the cuff, and I did not articulate my reasons or think my decision through.
Clearly.
At this time, my Patreon website has been shut down. I'm not sharing any of the photos or video anywhere, although you can see the photos published on other popular channels.
See, why did she have to add that? That's what I don't get. She doesn't have to explain herself past this video, and I don't expect her to, and I don't want her to, honestly. But why did she have to say, oh, it's still visible on other people's YouTube channels? That's basically saying, like, oh, like, I don't know why I'm getting all this criticism. I don't know why I'm getting shot down. Like, sis, like I said, those live streams were on the trial. This is... You sat down and edited photos of a deceased child. You sat down and made that video. The trial was this thing, and the streaming was this thing. The trial had to happen. Streaming? Whatever. It's public information. You can stream it. Whatever. But you took these specific autopsy photos, and you sat there and edited it, which is beyond me. And then you posted it to Patreon, thinking that it was a-okay.
Nothing you see is from me, nor will it ever be. To those who have supported me and followed my channel, and to the true crime community, I'm sorry I let you down.
Sis, you didn't just let the true crime community down. This looks really bad. For everyone. Like, it's not just you at this point. It's anyone who consumes true crime content. You didn't just let us down, sis. You brought out the worst in the community and put it on blast.
I cannot imagine the pain Gannon's family has gone through. My anger over what happened to Gannon is the reason I started following the case. I'm not this evil, heartless person like many are saying.
I'm not saying she's heartless. I'm not saying she's evil. I'm not saying none of that, because she's a person, she made a mistake. Granted, a pretty big mistake that should have never been made, period. But I'm not saying that she's evil. She made a mistake, and I'm happy that she's doing some soul searching. Though, I will say she didn't do it long enough because she is now posting on YouTube again. So, we got that going for us.
To Gannon's family, I have no words that can make this better.
And yet you've sat here trying to make the situation seem better. You see, I was a little contradictory. I don't know, maybe it's just me.
I'm doing a lot of self-reflecting, and I'm looking into sensitivity training. I did not want to add to the family's loss with anything I said or shared about this case. And it will be a long time before I ever trust myself or my decisions again. No one should have to ever go through what you guys have been through. I'm so very sorry for any pain that I've caused you.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, gays and theys, was Sav Girl's apology. I don't have anything to say about the last 15 seconds. Mwah! Beautiful. We love it. She apologized, and it seems sincere. The only grievance that I have is that, well, it was the last 15 seconds of the video. She did apologize at the beginning, and a little bit at the end, but it's an apology video. How does one make a video where they spend the majority of the time saying that they were just a misunderstood person and that there was reasons and an explanation, and then call it an apology video? Listen, I may not know what makes a good apology, but what I think I can say confidently is, this ain't it. Sis, this ain't it. And yes, we are just going to ignore that I'm late, and this happened over 2 months ago. I have to say, okay? Also, I have a wait, there's more moment later on in the video, so make sure you stay for that. I'm going to try and not repeat myself, so hopefully this goes well. But the first thing that I want to talk about, the first thing I want to point out is she said that she wanted to put it on Patreon to add that security. And I said on the internet, there is no security. What I meant was that there is no guarantee for it being secure, because if someone does something up on Patreon, it's gonna get exposed. Like, if you're a public figure, you cannot expect things like this to not be talked about, because at the end of the day, someone is watching. Someone will disagree, and someone will talk about it. That's like an unspoken thing with the internet. You just thought that it would be okay. This really goes to show how much she was really thinking when she decided to do this. Like, it's hard to imagine that she didn't stop and think, I wonder how other people are going to react to this. It's crazy! It is crazy! And what's even crazier than that is that she thought it would be appropriate to explain herself by saying that she could have done worse. That her motivations behind doing this was not for money, and it was for informational purposes. Again, it makes you wonder how she didn't stop and think, I wonder how this makes me sound. Well, I'll tell you how it makes you sound. It makes you sound like I could have done worse. I could have put it on YouTube, and I could have made so much money, and I could have gotten so many more views. Okay? What do you think saying this is doing for you? You think that people are gonna be like, oh, okay, I get it. No, I don't get it. I don't really understand why you decided to say this instead of just saying, my motivations behind doing this was strictly just to be informational, instead of going, oh, well, if I really wanted the money, I would have posted it on YouTube. Ah, yes. That makes this all so much better, doesn't it? One thing that I do want to clear up is when I said that Sapgirl should have not kept the photos. I still stand by that, but if it was just for personal use, for learning something, fine, whatever. But sharing it to the internet? Are you kidding me? Sis! One of the biggest questions that I think applies to pretty much everyone, just like, I know that I can do this, but should I? Thinking of the consequences of your actions before you do something, and the answer is no. You should not be sharing children's autopsy photos on the internet, okay? When I say in my reaction, I'm not calling her evil, it's cause that's not my place. I didn't know Ganon personally, I didn't know any of the family members personally, it's not my place. I'm not the one that got hurt. I will say that Ganon's father has, on a news segment, went out and publicly said that he believed that Sapgirl was an evil person, and he has every fucking right to believe that. He is so valid in thinking that. Overall, it's just not a good situation. But wait, there's more. Yeah, I figured she couldn't have been the only one to do something this stupid. So I found another case. Granted, it is all a legend and nothing has been confirmed yet, so I'm not going to be specific. I'm just going to give a brief explanation on what happened. Also, if you're curious on specifics, you can go into the description box and find more information there. Basically what happened is that an ex-morgue worker was fired and is or was getting sued for sharing pictures of corpses on her social media. She tagged herself on Instagram as #autopsyday, and in the article it seemed like she posted these videos specifically to grow her social media platform. And while you can't see the photos and videos in question, I did find this TikTok about her talking about her favorite autopsies to do. Which is just such a weird thing to say. Because it's not normal. I've never heard anyone be like, yes! I love doing autopsies, it's my favorite thing. I get if you find something interesting, that's fine. If you enjoy doing something specific at work, that's fine. I just don't know why she had to make it her online persona. That's all. Even if the allegations are true or not, this is a great example of desensitization in the true crime community and other communities alike. With this case in particular, the motivations behind the post speaks the most volumes. She basically broke the rules at the morgue she worked at to get clout on the internet. Yeah, add that to the seemingly never-ending list of stupid ass things people will do for interaction on fucking TikTok of all places. You would think that it is common sense that sharing imagery of literal deceased people is a disgusting thing to do. The blatant disrespect that is radiating off of this huge mess that these two got themselves into is wild. It's mind-boggling because it's like they're not understanding that those photos, they were of real people who, for one reason or another, had passed on to the next life. And that's what's scariest about desensitization, is that that's what they can be seen as in these communities. As just another example, just more information, and just another visual of death and murder. They are so much more than that. So, at the end of this, how does this all affect my opinion on the true crime community? This whole situation deepened my understanding on how bad the problems that are in the community get. Because through pure ignorance, I really didn't think it was possible to do something this bad. I didn't think that someone was capable and everybody had that, like, a conscience. But I was wrong, and it was ignorant of me to think that, and here we are. My overall opinion on the true crime community hasn't changed. I stand by a lot of what I said in that video, and I probably will continue to. But I've deepened my understanding on why people don't like it, and why people think that people who like true crime is just weird and disgusting and messed up and unethical. Like, I get it. And I have always understood, but I don't think I've ever had the chance to understand it this deeply. And like I said, it sucks. The world just keeps getting shittier and shittier and darker. But I can always strive to not make content that will affect someone like this affected Gannon's family. Granted, I'm not capable of doing anything remotely close to something like this, but I think it's just important to know that a content creator is always thinking about that. And let me tell you, I am always thinking about that. Toxic gossip train. I didn't do it. Toxic gossip train. Ooh, this was a long video. Thank you guys so much if you made it this far into the video. I really appreciate it. Thanks for even clicking on the video. That's cool. Thank you. You're a cool person. This was kind of scary to make, but I had a lot of fun doing it and hope that you guys like it as much as I do. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, let me know by leaving a like, and if you didn't, let me know what I could have done better. And while you're at it, you might as well subscribe. You should definitely do that. Yes, you should. Oh, and share the video. Please, I'm desperate. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers, so if you could help me out with that, that would be amazing. Anyway, hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Okay, love you. Bye! Hey, aren't you gonna press that subscribe button?